Hello everyone. As you can see today, I'm at home in my garden, and it's a really good place to talk about lots of aspects of wildlife photography, because you can get great shots of your birds at home, some wildlife like foxes if you're lucky. But today I want to talk about one specific thing, and that's the issue of you never have a long enough lens. Even if you own some of the big lenses which are horribly expensive, you're still going to hit that limit where you just can't get close enough. But what happens if you haven't got that long lens? Well, you can still get great photos, because if you're lucky, you can set up equipment and use what lenses you've got to get the shots. Basically, this is a case of getting the camera as close as possible to the birds or whatever wildlife you're going to shoot. What you're wanting to do is use the capabilities of your camera to get past the fact that you can't use that long lens. So we're talking about things like using time-lapse photography, so that it takes a photo every few seconds and you can get close, the photos come out looking really good, and you get some fantastic shots. The other thing then is to use your mobile phone. You can use it like a remote shutter release, so that effectively you're sat in the house if you want to, taking the shots, but the camera is outside and you just activate the shutter and get the shot. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use the props I've set up here to get some great shots. I've put a fallen branch up, propped up, to get some images of the birds. As you can see, they're flying around behind me. It's great here. I've got a bird feeder set up on the line behind my head, and the birds also come to the ground because we've got jays, woodpeckers, all the normal birds coming, and it's a really great opportunity to get some shots. So I'm hoping that today we're going to get some really great images, and I can talk you through how to set up using the phones to activate as a remote trigger and to set up time lapses. So I'll get set up and we'll start. As you can see, I've got the tripod already set up. I've got the camera here, and what lens am I going to be using? Well, I'm going to be using a 40 to 150mm f2.8, but I'm not going to be using the full range because I want to use it close up. So I'm going to be setting it around 50mm, which in full frame terms that's 100mm. So I'm going to aim it along the branch so that if a bird lands anywhere along that branch, then I'll be able to get it in focus, and they'll be static there for a while. They're still going to twitch around, but you won't have to have a really fast shutter speed, and you'll be able to set quite a shallow depth of field to get as much light in as possible. The camera's going to have enough time for the time lapse to trigger, and you'll get some images. So I'm going to set it up, put the camera on here like so, and aim it along the branch, get it nicely aligned so that you get a really good view straight along for when those birds come in and land. Should be great. Right, I've got the camera on the tripod and it's looking great. The view you can see there, really spot on. It'll allow me to get birds right along the branch. So what I've got to do first of all is set up the autofocus mode. So on my Olympus now, you change to one of the group focus modes, because you don't want a single point autofocus, because you're never going to hit the bird if you use that. So I set it about like that, yeah, just there, and that's fine. Any bird getting in that group on the screen there will trigger the autofocus and you'll get a nice crisp image. So now that I've done that, I want to set up the time lapse. So I go into the menu, into shooting menu 1, and you can see down here that's where you set up your time lapse. So go into that, and now you want to go down and switch on the time lapse, so set to on. Now if you go right here, you can get all your various options. So I've got it set to take 999 frames, that's the maximum number, so you'll just keep shooting until the battery dies. I'm going to stop and pause before it actually shoots for the first time by 5 seconds, and the length between shots will be 10 seconds, because it'll mean if a bird pushes there for a while you'll get 2 or 3 shots easily. Then I've also got time-lapse movie on, because then when I come back to review the photos I can just play that time-lapse, and in a few seconds I'll see all the images I've taken, see whether anything actually perched there. Because chances are you're going to have a lot of time where you don't get any shots at all, because it's a branch. The likelihood of getting a bird there is pretty remote, even next to a feeder, so you're going to have to be prepared to be patient and get as many chances as possible then of actually getting a bird on the perch. Right, so that's all set. You can go back out. Now all you have to do to start is just press the shutter button, and there you can see the green on the top there, that says 999. There, it's taken the first shot. So we're just going to count down until either it finishes taking all the possible shots or until the battery runs out. Right, next we're switching over to a smaller camera. This is an Olympus TG5. So it's not an expensive camera, but it is a good one for this because it's very tough, as the name implies. It's weather sealed, it's dust proof, everything like that. And I'm going to be placing it virtually right under the bird feeder here. So I've got it on a gorilla pod, and I'm going to get it really close down onto the ground so that you get the pictures of the birds right as they're rooting around on the ground looking for food dropped from the bird feeder. And it should produce some really fantastic images because they'll be really up close. And it's a really active spot, which is great. Right, I'm back outside now and I had a look and we've got some good images on the time-lapse. So the next step is to set it up with the iPad. Different camera manufacturers are going to have different apps, so you'll have to adjust for your own camera. But for Olympus, you use an app called OI Share. So the first thing you want to do is you want to switch on the Wi-Fi on the camera, which will enable you to link to your device. So on this camera, you just tap on Wi-Fi at the top there. As you see, it says Wi-Fi starting. And then you get this. This is a QR code that you scan in your app, and then it controls the camera using your iPad. It's quite simple, so it's a really elegant solution, and it makes doing this very, very easy. Right, the camera's all set up. It's pointing along that branch, so if we're very lucky now, the birds will come in if they keep quiet, and we'll get some really good shots. I've got the iPad with me. It's just a matter of pressing the shutter button to get a burst of images or record some video when I want. But it's typical because there are goldfinch out the other window, and yet I've set my camera up just here to try and get the jays and woodpeckers, things like that, maybe a squirrel. But let's cross our fingers that we get some good results. The one thing you have to get used to as a wildlife photographer is needing patience. Even in the garden where the wildlife are used to you, you've still got to wait for a really great shot to come along, and it can be a long time. It's really funny. There aren't any birds there at the moment. I think something's disturbed them, but wait a minute. There's a jay there. There's a jay there. Oh, I've got to turn you around because I haven't got the main camera. I haven't got the main camera on the bird feeder, so it's not on the branch yet, so you can't see it. But there's a jay on there. Oh wait, there's a second one. There's a second one. There's one on the floor as well. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, I've got to turn the camera around. Hold on. I hope the video quality is good enough because I'm pointing the camera out through the mesh on the hide. But I think it's going to be okay. It looks okay on the back of the screen. But look at it, two jays. I can't believe it. Oh, the one on the floor is picking up all the bits. The one on the feeder is dropping. Oh, look at them. Oh, that's amazing. I've never seen two jays in the garden at once. I didn't even realise we had two. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, look at that. Oh, they're such beautiful birds. We occasionally get a feather drop from them, and it's a real treat, but oh, to see two, oh look, it's just dropped down, you've got them side by side. Oh, I wish I had that. I took the tuff in. Why couldn't I have had the tuff on the floor taking pictures now? Oh, it's just typical. now, but oh, it's fantastic. Oh, brilliant. What a reward. I never expected this kind of thing. Oh, this is amazing. Well, I think that's going to be it for the day. I've had some fantastic surprises. I hope the techniques are going to be of use to you, because if you get the results that I've got today, it's going to be amazing, and I hope you really enjoy it. See you next time.